Las estrellas, lo bonito que sentí, lo bonito que sentí cuando te conocí. Gracias al cielo por haberte conocido, por haberte conocido. Gracias al cielo y le cuento a las estrellas lo bonito que sentí, lo bonito que sentí cuando te conocí. Claro que sí, bueno, buenas estrellas. Sabes una cosa, algo que decide, no sé cómo empezar a explicar lo que te quiero cantar. Sabes una cosa, encuentro las palabras diversos ritmo rosa.
From WBRN Radio and on the Boston Red Network. This is a joint project with BR on the World, that's our international program, and the political program Boston Red. The title of this episode is Andrés Manuel López Obrador on the 3rd of July 2018. López Obrador was elected by a landslide in Mexico on Sunday. We had been planning to have this program out on Monday, but nonetheless we'll get it out today. And we'll go to sources in Mexico, newspapers there, and we'll also have a reaction from the New York Times, and as an editorial in the Washington Post. Those newspapers, typical monopoly type newspapers, and their take on López Obrador and his victory in Mexico and his plans. Once again, he's being attacked as Bernie Sanders in this country and various other progressives about promising what is called in America pie in the sky. It's not pie in the sky, it's difficult work. This work is hard. It's not easy, and in Mexico he has to deal with a number of items. First of all, the privatization of the Mexican National Petroleum Company. That should be stopped. It does not need to be privatized. Again, from what lens one is working. And we'll get to the Post's editorials there, but basically what they're talking about is a form of laissez-faire capitalism creeping in to Mexico, including the school system, system of private schools. He is moving to improve education. And those are the things that are very important to Mexicans. We'll go to the newspaper here, and wait a minute, just a minute. Yeah, we'll go the News Daily. It is in English. Morena Coalition wins 5 of 8 gubernatorial races, including in Mexico City. They have elected the first woman mayor of Mexico City, Claudia Sheinbaum. I'm mispronouncing her last name, but nonetheless, she is the mayor-elect in Mexico City. And the left coalition, and this is the left coalition by López Obrador, big wins there, made history together, led by his Arena party. And also it included a coalition of the Labor Party. They even had some conservatives called the Social Encounter Party. Was successful in Mexico City and 4 other states, all located to the south of the capital. The ruling party is called the Institutional Revolutionary Party, which has been plagued by corruption scandals at the federal and state level, didn't win any of the 9 states and appears to lost 2 of it at hell. Claudia Sheinbaum was won by 47% of the vote to easily beat the front runner Alejandro Barres. He was a representative of the right-left coalition made up of PAN, that's the National Action Party, and the Democratic Revolutionary Party, and the Citizens Movement Party. First time in Mexico City has elected a female mayor. The Morena-led coalition won mayor races in 11 of 19 boroughs in the capital. Immediately south of the state of Morales is set to be governed by a former soccer star and the current mayor, Blanco. Blanco. Blanco won 42% of the vote, or 4 times that of his nearest rival, Manuel Solento, who represented an alliance of PAM and MC there. Blanco crashed with the former governor Garco. Wait a minute here. Glencoe Melendez in the Morena candidate, in Veracruz. Garcia Juarez won 45% of the vote to defeat another PAN candidate there, Yanis Masquez, the son of the current governor, Miguel Angeles Yunes. The Enlo state of Tabasco, that's where Augusto Lopez Hernandez won a commanding victory of 61%. What I was going to say, Tabasco is a state where Lopez Obrador started his political career to the south of that Chiapas. Marinas, let's see, Escadon, Candez, it's in Chiapas, won 40% of the vote to practically double the support by the Institutional Revolutionary Party. And there was also the Green Party. They got 20 and 21% respectively. And the first time in history, Mexican history, is a state led by a governor representing the Citizens Movement Party. Now, that is the MC party, perhaps best known. Some 9-year-old sung an anthem there, Enrique Alfaro Rimes. Anyway, some of the local candidates you will not hear about them. Just over 80% of the vote counted. The former, this is the vote. And let me go to the Spanish edition here. This is from El Universo. Here, the vote for the AMLO at 52.96. Sorry about my Espanol here. It's not very good, but we're trying to move along. Is Programa de Resolutor Electros Preliminaries. Anyway, this gives Andrés Manuel López Obrador commanding Tudor com 52.6 de la vecina presidente qua represente 24 million votes there. So that is the wrap-up from there. And sorry about my Spanish, but we're working on it. Anyway, from Pinionetta, I think we did have some Pinionetta Maricada su agenda para ver el López Obrador. This was his statement on the election of el presidente Enrique Pinionetta. Maricó su agenda para encontrar este maricó el virtual ganador de la elección presidente Andrés Manuel López Obrador. So much there. But he did make a statement congratulating President-elect López Obrador. Now let's get to the version from various characters here. This is an opinion from the Post. Mexico's president-elect has far too many promises to keep. This is their editorial board here, who was elected on a landslide Obrador to be the next president of Mexico. Like many, including Trump, it's not a very good comparison. López Obrador promised to overturn the reigning political establishment. He said he alone is capable of delivering on this, what they call far-fetched promises, assaults the media, courts, civil society groups, and others who might check his personal power like other populists. Incoming Mexican leader also has been vague and occasionally contradictory about specific policies he may pursue, even while insisting he will bring about transformation compared to the Mexican achievements of independence. That is, he is sure to fail. The question is how much damage he will do to the democratic system that enabled him to gain power, refusing to accept defeat. The reason that he didn't accept defeat here, and again, this is specious, is that he actually won the election and he was robbed. He ran 2 times before this election here. The new party of the president-elect created, won a majority in both houses of the Congress there, and period, elected, created, likely won anyway, a quasi-autocratic rules in any executive sense. Anyway, this is a license to libel, vowed to eliminate and not reduce corruption. Well, again, campaign promises are just that, campaign promises. Politicians get promises, and promises are not to be taken literally, but they are, unless you're DJ Trump. You are in a situation that you put forth your program to bring down the soaring murder rate. One of the things that López Obrador has proposed, and it will be put to the vote, is to negotiate with some of the criminal gangs. What has happened, the government has had high-profile arrest of so-called kingpins, but the kingpins are in jail and their underlings are still running the enterprise. So thus it is going on. It's promised tens of billions in new spending on social programs and not add to the debt of Mexico. And this is where a lot of disagreement comes about here, shifting the statist autocratic Mexico of the 21st century towards modernizing a liberal democracy. Now, this liberal democracy scheme they've been pushing since Mr. Locke. And it is not what you envision as being a liberal. What they're talking about here is basically free enterprise, so-called free enterprise, running amok. In the U.S., they have so-called liberal democracy that delivers payday loans, other types of cutthroat predator operations that are part of when you start talking about the GDP of the United States. You're talking about a lot of shadow banking and various other manipulative schemes that come in to bringing about this so-called adding up of the total economy, not necessarily GDP, but the total investment in the $22 trillion economy. You have to subtract from that these illegal ventures that are put forward. And many of these, but no more than Ponzi schemes, are put forth in the U.S., and that's what caused the problem, depression in 2008. Not necessarily subprime loans. The subprime loans were just part of the overall scheme, and one of the things that people do not mention, if you look back at the history of American capitalism, you had the tech bubble was necessary to rejuvenate a stagnant economy. That was under Bill Clinton. Then it popped like a balloon. And then you had 9/11. That was spending on so-called security, creation of Homeland Security, federal contracts. They rode that as long as they could. That's under G.W. Bush. Next came the real estate scenario, and that bubble also burst. But not only trading in real estate, these corporations in line with these various criminal elements that were selling these mortgage products to people at very high interest rates. That meant the Goldman Sachs of the world and various other people were making more money, and that's usually, you can read Marx's ground rents. It's the same thing as slumlords of the world that rent out their dilapidated dwellings, generally speaking, and charge high rents. That is how DJ Trump and Old Man Trump started their enterprise, literally, on the backs of the working class. This one has to understand. In Mexico, you have to look at the general society. One of the things Lopez Obrador has to deal with is corruption, the same problem that is happening in China. And that is, he has 6 years to deal with a gradual program, and at the same time provide a better standard of living for Mexicans. Very, very important there. Healthcare, education, jobs. But to have jobs, you have to have development, and that is the missing pie. If you get those things, you will not have people having to come across the border. Period. And also other modernization techniques. And he has been out in the villages, in places like Chiapas and various other places, all of his political life. So you can expect that he knows what he's doing. Now, they, this is the Washington Post, they, in Latin America, should guard against any steps, this is the other nations, by Lopez Obrador to erode democratic institutions and media freedoms. Well, the Washington Post, whose general thing is democracy dies in the dark, media freedoms are being not only eroded here, journalists is here in the USA of A, but journalists are being killed in their newsrooms. Yes, you have journalists killed in Mexico, but we haven't had a newsroom in Mexico in recent times where they literally killed 5 journalists in one crime spree. And this whole thing about Trump and Lupin Presa, the dirty media, a campaign there, Lopez Obrador has not taken that on. But the bourgeois press in this country, a monopoly media, has no right to bring these things up. So as we look at these, we'll hear from Lopez Obrador, and his victory speech is in Espanol. Sorry about that. We don't have the English subtitles, but for Be Out in the World, it's perfect for everyone else. Listen to the cheers of Lopez Obrador. We'll do the sports now. The World Cup schedule for today: Sweden and Switzerland. That'll be at 10 o'clock Eastern time. And then Colombia and England. That'll be the 2 p.m. Eastern time schedule there. On Friday, I'm looking at Uruguay and France at 10 a.m. That'll be June 6th. And Brazil and Belgium will be the 2 o'clock game there. And let's... whoops. We'll go quickly here to the BBC and get their soccer update. We usually get it from them. Big question they asked here, are England good enough to take the World Cup? Belgium slams Japan in the final quarter. And Brazil, of course, beat Mexico. That score was 3-2, Belgium over Japan in round 2. So this would have been on Monday, so we make sure we had it. Brazil 2-0 over Mexico, and Belgium 3-2 over Japan. So thus Mexico, as they say, has its problems there, but they did win in the election. And Belgium, can Belgium win the World Cup? Huge spirit building after the fight back there. And a little bit of the history there. At this point, just about anyone could win the World Cup that are left in the particular situation. Let's do the baseball scores and get to something we know. In 10, the Tigers, and we're in Toronto. Tigers 3-2. The Red Sox were in Washington. Sox 4-3. And in 11, Atlanta was in New York. Atlanta won the game over the Yankees 5-3. The White Sox were in Cincy. Cincy 5-3 over the Sox. And in 10, another 10-inning game here, the Battle of Florida, the Tampa Bay Rays, and the Marlins. Marlins 3-2. And another 10-inning game here. This one was in Milwaukee. Brewers 6-5 over the Twins. Cleveland was in Kansas City. Cleveland 9-3. The Giants were in the Mile High City. Rockies 5-2. Mr. Davis, of course, got the win. A game we tuned into that was all Cardinals. Cardinals 6-3 over the Diamondbacks in Arizona. And finally, the Padres and Dodgers, and this was a slugfest, and all of it was L.A. 17-1. We were in on part of that game and left it. Dodgers had 21 hits and 1 error. And the Pirates 9 hits and 3 errors. Well, you don't win any games like that. Period. Mr. Wood was a winner. Mr. Ferguson got the save for Los Angeles. They didn't need Mr. Jensen in that. But nonetheless, on the 3rd of July, 2018, Andrés Manuel López Obrador is the title of our episode across our various networks here, the Boston Red Network, BR on the World, and you'll be able to get it there, and also on Boston Red. On we go to the President-elect of Mexico, Andrés Manuel López Obrador, his victory speech in the plaza in Mexico City. Good day.
Con su apoyo, con su confianza. Desde este zócalo de la Ciudad de México, corazón político, social, cultural de nuestra República. Un saludo, amigas, amigos. Este es un día histórico y será una noche memorable. Una mayoría importante de ciudadanos ha decidido iniciar la cuarta transformación de la vida pública de México. Agradezco a todos los que votaron por nosotros y nos han dado su confianza para encabezar este proceso de cambio verdadero. Expreso mi respeto a quienes votaron por otros candidatos y partidos. Lo mismo manifiesto para los tres candidatos a la presidencia de la República de las distintas organizaciones que el día de hoy han reconocido nuestro triunfo, nuestra victoria. Llamo a todos los mexicanos a la reconciliación y a poner por encima de los intereses personales, por legítimos que sean, el interés superior, el interés general, como afirmó en su momento Vicente Guerrero: la patria es primero. El nuevo proyecto de nación buscará establecer una auténtica democracia. No apostamos a construir una dictadura abierta ni encubierta. Los cambios serán profundos, pero se darán con apego al orden legal establecido. Habrá libertad empresarial, libertad de expresión, de asociación y de creencias. Se garantizarán todas las libertades individuales y sociales, así como los derechos ciudadanos y políticos consagrados en nuestra Constitución. En materia económica, se respetará la autonomía del Banco de México. El nuevo gobierno mantendrá disciplina financiera y fiscal. Se reconocerán los compromisos contraídos con empresas y bancos nacionales y extranjeros. Los contratos del sector energético suscritos con particulares serán revisados para prevenir actos de corrupción o ilegalidad. Si encontramos anomalías que afecten el interés nacional, se acudirá al Congreso de la Unión, a tribunales nacionales e internacionales. Es decir, siempre nos conduciremos por la vía legal. No actuaremos de manera arbitraria ni habrá confiscación o expropiación de bienes. La transformación que llevaremos a cabo consistirá básicamente en desterrar la corrupción de nuestro país. No tendremos problema en lograr este propósito porque el pueblo de México es heredero de grandes civilizaciones y por ello es inteligente, honrado y trabajador. La corrupción no es un fenómeno cultural, sino el resultado de un régimen político en decadencia. Estamos absolutamente seguros de que este mal es la causa principal de la desigualdad social y de la desigualdad económica, y también por la corrupción se desató la violencia en nuestro país. En consecuencia, erradicar la corrupción y la impunidad será la misión principal del nuevo gobierno. Bajo ninguna circunstancia, el próximo presidente de la República permitirá la corrupción ni la impunidad. Sobre aviso no hay engaño. Sea quien sea, será castigado. Incluyo a compañeros de lucha, a funcionarios, a los amigos y a los familiares. Un buen juez por la casa empieza. Todo lo ahorrado por el combate a la corrupción y por abolir los privilegios se destinará a impulsar el desarrollo del país. No habrá necesidad de aumentar impuestos en términos reales, ni de endeudar al país. Tampoco habrá gasolinazos. Bajaré el gasto corriente y aumentará la inversión pública para impulsar actividades productivas y crear empleos. El propósito es fortalecer el mercado interno, tratar de producir en el país lo que consumimos y que el mexicano pueda trabajar y ser feliz donde nació, donde están sus familiares, sus costumbres, sus culturas. Quien desee emigrar, que lo haga por gusto y no por necesidad. El Estado dejará de ser un comité al servicio de una minoría y representará a todos los mexicanos, a ricos y pobres, a pobladores del campo y de la ciudad, a migrantes, a creyentes y no creyentes, a seres humanos de todas las corrientes de pensamiento y de todas las preferencias sexuales. Escucharemos a todos, atenderemos a todos, respetaremos a todos, pero daremos preferencia a los más humildes y a los olvidados. En especial a los pueblos indígenas de México. Reitero una frase que sintetiza mi pensamiento: por el bien de todos, primero los pobres. Cambiará la estrategia fallida de combate a la inseguridad y a la violencia. Más que el uso de la fuerza, atenderemos las causas que originan la inseguridad y la violencia. Estoy convencido de que la forma más eficaz y más humana de enfrentar estos males exige necesariamente del combate a la desigualdad y a la pobreza. La paz y la tranquilidad son frutos de la justicia. A partir de mañana convocaré a representantes de derechos humanos, a líderes religiosos, a la ONU y a otros organismos nacionales e internacionales para reunirnos las veces que sean necesarias y elaborar el plan de reconciliación y paz para México que aplicaremos desde el inicio del próximo gobierno. Me reuniré todos los días, una vez que asuma el cargo de presidente, desde muy temprano, desde las 6 de la mañana, con los miembros del Gabinete de Seguridad Pública, es decir, habrá mando único, coordinación, perseverancia y profesionalismo. Seremos amigos de todos los pueblos y de todos los gobiernos del mundo. En política exterior se volverán a aplicar los principios de no intervención, de autodeterminación de los pueblos y de solución pacífica de las controversias. Y como decía el presidente Juárez, nada por la fuerza, todo por la razón y el derecho. Con el gobierno de Estados Unidos buscaremos una relación de amistad y de cooperación para el desarrollo, siempre fincada en el respeto mutuo y en la defensa de nuestros paisanos migrantes que viven y trabajan honradamente en ese país. Amigas y amigos, agradezco las muestras de solidaridad que he recibido de dirigentes y de organizaciones sociales, políticas y religiosas de los distintos países del mundo. Ya hemos contestado las primeras llamadas de felicitación de jefes de Estado y de gobierno de algunos países. A todos, nuestro sincero agradecimiento y respeto. Debo reconocer el comportamiento respetuoso del presidente Enrique Peña Nieto en este proceso electoral. Muy diferente, porque me consta, al trato que nos dieron los pasados titulares del Poder Ejecutivo. Fue ejemplar la pluralidad y el profesionalismo de la prensa, la radio y la televisión. Los medios de información no fueron, como en otras ocasiones, correas de transmisión para la guerra sucia. También mi gratitud a las benditas redes sociales. Reitero el compromiso de no traicionar la confianza que han depositado en mí millones de mexicanos. Voy a gobernar con rectitud y justicia. No les fallaré. No voy a decepcionarles. No voy a traicionar al pueblo. Mantengo ideales y principios, que es lo que estimo más importante en mi vida, pero también confieso que tengo una ambición legítima. Quiero pasar a la historia como un buen presidente de México. deseo, anhelo con toda mi alma poner en alto la grandeza de nuestra patria, ayudar a construir una sociedad mejor y conseguir la dicha y la felicidad de todos los mexicanos. Muchas gracias de todo corazón. ¡Que viva México! ¡Viva México! ¡Viva México!